Hello, I'm going to be talking about, well, women really, and the steadily depreciating image of them we're getting in the media. And particularly, I'm going to be talking about a grotesque image I found on my YouTube studio page. But before I get onto that, I want to make sure that you know what a pantomime dame is, because I want to make a difference between the pantomime dames and the sort of thing I'm complaining about, which is a trend to mocking, trivializing and bullying women, frequently with the support of the police. First of all, pantomime dames. Pantomime is not what many people around the world think of as pantomime. It's for all singing, all dancing, all speaking. It used to be actually pantomime, but that went 200, 300 years ago. It's a traditional entertainment in Britain, which is usually performed around Christmas time. And that's important because it was always traditional, even before Christmas was Christmas, when it was called Saturnalia in ancient Rome. It was a time for roles to be reversed, when masters served their slaves. And in medieval England, there were sort of wild parties, which is why Oliver Cromwell tried to stop Christmas from being celebrated. There was, wild parties, and a Lord of Misrule was elected from one of the lower ranks and given all the honours of an aristocrat. It's therefore appropriate that traditional pantomime should be involved with gender reversals. Now, pantomime involves a set of stock characters. There's the hero. That used to be a young woman, sort of dressed up as a man, but very unconvincingly. She'd be wearing a doublet that was very form-fitting, and it would be very short, and then she'd be wearing tights and high heels. Believe me, it looked okay. Anyway, she played the man, but now they have, to bring the crowds in, the theatres have started a while ago, to take as the hero pop stars who can't act. And but there you are, they bring in the crowds. Then there's a secondary male character, usually some sort of an assistant, who's the witty one. And then there's the damsel, the Cinderella, the Snow White, the Sleeping Beauty or whatever, the beautiful young girl who's much put upon in the story. And of course, most of these shows are based on fairy tales. I have to make that point. Then there's the good fairy or the evil magician or whatever, who comes on every so often while they're changing the scenery at the back and fills in the bits of the story with always in rhyme. They always talk in rhyme. And then there's the dame. Now, the dame is such a specialised job that there are actors who do nothing else but dames. The dame is usually the mother of the hero, although sometimes in Cinderella, for instance, there are two dames and they are the two ugly sisters. Whatever, the dame is always a comic character, and it's always played by a man. Generally an older man as well. And he wears the most extravagant and outlandish of female dress. I'll put a few pictures up here so you can see. And as you might notice, this is not real female dress. It's some sort of ridiculous concoction, often based on a theme. I've got one picture, I'll find it. I've got one picture of a dame dressed up as a tea table with a cake stand in the middle, which is her hairstyle or his hairstyle. Now, why am I not offended by someone dressing up as a woman in those ridiculous clothes? Because this is a clown. He's supposed to make us laugh, and we enjoy the laugh with him. Now, you can go into all sorts of social and psychological reasons for the dame being laughable, and there are, and I did go through them, but Really, we don't have time for that. And so you'll have to be satisfied with my assertion that this is a figure of fun who knows he's a figure of fun and joins in the joke with the audience. However, I want to draw your attention to the fact that there are other men who dress up as women, and in my belief they do that only to make ordinary women into figures of fun, or somehow to take women away, to take the position of women away from women. It's, in my opinion, pure misogyny, real misogyny, which is not how the woke define it, but that's how I feel about it. Now, I want to tell you, I have a YouTube channel. You may have noticed that. Well, along with my status as a creator, I'm given access to something called YouTube Studio, which has the sort of tools that any creator, video creator, would need for uploading YouTube videos. Just a minute, I'm going to stop here because the sun is shining straight into my eyes. I'm just going to pull a blind down. I'm back. I thought with it being such a stormy day that I wouldn't need to close the blinds, but I did. Anyway, where was I? Right, okay, yeah, we were in Creator Studio, weren't you? YouTube Studio, weren't you? And so it gives you all sorts of tools and things. It gives you access to royalty-free music and that sort of thing. And recently they started a new idea, which is a sort of TikTok for YouTubers. It involves very short videos. Actually, I haven't looked into it at all because I'm not interested in that sort of thing. But on my studio page, I get a lot of little items urging me to take advantage of this new service. And today, this picture was the featured item. Telling me to share my love with my fans. Now, I'm making the assumption that this isn't one of my possible fans, but a picture of a YouTuber who wants to share his love. Any takers? So, first I want to make it clear that if there's anyone watching this who was born a male but has transitioned to take on the outward form and the persona of a female, well, welcome. Frankly, I don't know why anyone born a male would actually want to be a woman. It's a tremendous step. There's no doubt at all that being a woman gets you many disabilities in society, as well as the pain of transitioning, of course. Of course, in my case, my role as a mother and as a wife has more than compensated me for the fact that, for instance, I got sacked for being pregnant. Oh, they pretended it was for something else, but we knew what was going on. And later on, I had trouble being taken seriously when I was working in the media industry. Oh, and don't for a minute think that because there are some women reading the news and giving interviews that the media industry thinks they're to be taken as seriously as the men who do the same thing. It's not spoken and they pretend otherwise, but, well, hypocrisy is a given in the media, isn't it? Female politicians, for instance, get the most poisonous of reactions, while, let's face it, J.K. Rowling didn't start her publishing career as Joanne Rowling, did she? And the hero of her books is Harry Potter, not Harriet. You can say the same for Ursula Le Guin, whose writing, when she started out, went out under the name of U.K. Le Guin. This isn't historical. How about Magnus Flight, who is actually a pair of writers called Christina Lynch and Meg Howry. See, I didn't even remember their names. And then there's J.D. Robb, who is really Nora Roberts. So, as I've said, I have a lot of respect, if not some slight puzzlement, when a man decides to take on the life of a woman. But I'm talking about a true transsexual here. I'm not talking about this person here, who it seems to me is nothing more than a grotesque parody of a woman. The way he presents himself, he's simply making fun of women, belittling women. There's a slightly less extreme example in an artist called Grayson Perry. He does marvellous things with pots and tapestries, I've been told, but he dresses up in a lot of pantomime dame stuff, and also, creepily, as a parody of a little girl. This is him with his wife. She's a psychotherapist, by the way. Look, the difference between Perry and a pantomime dame is we can all laugh at the pantomime dame. Anyone who laughs at Perry becomes a social outcast. Like that. And actually, I do wonder how much his art would be known if he dressed in a more conventional way. However, let's get back to the main idea. What would any of us say about someone who dresses up in extravagant costumes to make fun of, well, black people or comedy Chinese or something? There was a fuss in an American university about people wearing sombreros, for goodness sake. But just like women being told that exclusively female characteristics are not a sign that they're women, just as women are being told that men can make just as good women as them, so women have to, well, in the name of diversity or inclusion or something, we're supposed to accept with good grace, a tolerant smile, those travesties of our existence as can be encapsulated in that photo. Because if we don't, we'll be labelled bigots or TERFs. Well, to coin somebody else's phrase, I'm mad as hell about it, and I'm not going to take it anymore, which I suppose means that I have to expect a visit from the thought police any day soon. Meanwhile, just for you and the thought police, I am Graniopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. I give notifications of my videos on Twitter, Gab and Parler. With my handle is @Graniopteryx. Please like, subscribe to my videos and support them if you can. And, well, a feminine goodbye till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Graniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.graniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.